of all participation preferences. Public comment participation is encouraged by emailing any comments to the city clerk's office or by calling in using the phone number provided on the front of the agenda. Are there any public comments in person or online?
Let me double check my email. I have no written comments. Olivia, do we have anyone on the line? Olivia, can you hear us?
There are no callers on the line.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. This is now the portion of the meeting where we start our business, and item 1 is approval of the minutes.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Are there any requests to speak on this matter?
I have no requests. Olivia, do we have anyone on the line?
There is no one on the line.
Any comments from the committee, from the commission?
No.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner St. Martin?
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Stevens?
Yes. That passes. So we'll move on to item 3, which is a plot plan and conditional use permit for consideration of a request to demolish the former Denny's restaurant and construct a 2,200 square foot coffee shop with a drive-through on 0.64 acres located on 4th Street, east of Beaumont Avenue in the community commercial zone. Can we have a staff report, please?
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. An application for the plot plan and conditional use permit were submitted to the city on July 30th of this year. As part of the application process, we did place a public notice in the Press Enterprise and notified property owners within a 300-foot radius. No comments have been received to date. The municipal code does allow drive-through uses in the community commercial zone subject to a conditional use permit. The municipal code also provides that the Planning Commission has the authority to approve, modify, or deny a conditional use permit in whole or in part per section 17.02.100.g, subject to the required findings and plot plans with the same language, approve, modify, or deny, and the findings are in section 17.02.070.f. The property is in a community commercial zone area. The general plan designation for the property is general commercial, and the subject property is surrounded by similar zoning and land use designations. The site is currently developed with an existing restaurant building, which was formerly the Denny's restaurant. The applicant is proposing to demolish the site and construct a 2,200 square foot Starbucks coffee shop. And those improvements will include curb, gutter, sidewalk, and a commercial driveway that is up to city standards. I do want to point out at this time that we do have a housekeeping item, and staff is recommending a modification to condition of approval number 64. This condition is regarding the water quality management plan, and we would like to change the language in the second sentence and strike submitted to and replace it with approved by the. So requiring that the final WQMP is approved prior to the project having building permits issued. The architecture is a modern style. It includes varied roof lines and building planes to create visual interest, and does include a variety of exterior accents consisting of metal cantilever awnings, brick veneers, and cornice treatments. The proposed use is required to provide 1 parking space for each 100 square feet of gross floor area, which would require a minimum of 22 parking spaces. The applicant is providing 22 parking spaces. In addition to meeting the parking requirement, they are also meeting the vehicle stacking, which is a minimum of 8 vehicles. As discussed in the staff report, this site does include a small portion of 2 city-owned properties that are located to the south of the site. The applicant has been working with economic development and did bring forward a purchase agreement to the city council that was approved in August of this year. As part of the project, the hours of operation are proposed from 4:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., operating 7 days a week. The project has been conditioned to operate during these proposed hours. The project is exempt from CEQA as a Class 32 infill categorical exemption, and the required plot plan and conditional use permit findings can be adequately met and are included in the staff report. So at this time, staff would recommend that the Planning Commission hold a public hearing, approve plot plan 2021-0386 and CUP 2021-0059, subject to the modified conditions of approval, and direct staff to prepare a notice of exemption for the applicant to record with the county clerk recorder. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from the commission
No
for
question.
the applicant or staff?
It's just it's a tricky location, you know. I mean, it's consistent with everything on there, but God, Virginia is such just a mess. You know, there's.
Vice Chair, I think your mic is off.
Yep, it was. No, I mean it's. I don't have any questions about the project itself. It's just I wish there was something, you know, that someone had a plan. RCTC was moving us or something with the 7910 interchange to untangle that a little bit. But
Yeah, that we have talked with a lot of different developers about that particular location and had indicated that, you know, it is tricky. I mean, if you
It's-
don't
yeah.
know how to get in there,
Right.
it's really difficult to figure out, even
Yeah.
though there's signage.
yeah. Okay, but no questions.
All right, I can open up the public hearing at 6:10. Are there any requests to speak?
I have no written comments. Olivia, do we have anyone on the line?
There is no one on the line.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing at 6:11. And ask for a motion.
Move to approve
I'll second.
plot plan 2021-0386.
Do we need, to do,
With,
oh, I'm sorry.
With the recommendation from.
With the recommendations.
I'll second.
And that was on 64. So we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
And we now have Commissioner Black on the line. So I'll call your name, Commissioner Black, and then you can choose to abstain if you didn't get the whole staff report, or you can vote. Commissioner Black.
Yes, I did hear the report. Thank you. And I agree. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner St. Martin,
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Stevens.
I don't care.
Yes. And that passes for the affirmative. Next item, going down the list, is item 4, which is Plan 2021-0669 for consideration of a sign program for the Beaumont Landing project located at 1396 Desert Lawn Drive in the Community Commercial Zone, or the CC Zone. Can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Staff did receive an application on September 30th of this year for a sign program for the Beaumont Landing project. The Beaumont Landing project was approved with a conditional use permit and a plot plan on July 14th, 2020, so many of you may be familiar with it. That includes a gas station, car wash, convenience store, and a drive-through restaurant pad. So now as the applicant is working on, obtaining their permits, they have developed this sign program that will help them mitigate some of the constraints of the site. The municipal code does allow sign programs under section 17.07.030L. Sign programs are basically considered a variance, but they have their own section under the sign code. And Variances are under the sign code are in section 17.07.060K, and it states that applications for a variance from the terms of this chapter shall be reviewed by the Planning Commission according to the variance procedures set forth in the zoning ordinance. However, variances shall be considered without reference to proposed content, copy, or message of the proposed sign other than off-site, on-site distinction for commercial messages. So as part of this application, the applicant is requesting 1 pylon sign, 1 fuel price monument sign, 1 future monument sign, and then various wall and canopy signs for the fueling canopy. The pylon sign is proposed at 76 feet in height with a total square footage of 300 square feet. It does accommodate 3 tenants. I would like to point out that the applicant did reach out to staff prior to submitting to kind of gauge the pulse of how their application would be received, and we had indicated we had some concerns with height, so they did reduce the height and made some modifications based on staff's recommendation prior to submittal. The fuel price sign is approximately 6.5 feet in height and 8 feet wide. It does have LED lighting for the pricing that is color-coded for unleaded and diesel. The future monument sign does not have a detail in the sign program, so it would be subject to the requirements in the Beaumont Municipal Code. We have indicated that to the applicant, that no allowances will be made for that proposed future monument sign. And then wall signage is proposed to allow 2 square feet for each linear foot of frontage with a 75% maximum width of the area. Staff did prepare a comparison table that's in the staff report, so you can see what's allowed just under the standard sign code and what the applicant is requesting. This proposed sign program is consistent with the approved sign programs within the city. This is also not a public hearing, so staff would recommend that the Planning Commission discuss the proposal and approve Plan 2021-0069. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. We also have the applicant here in the audience to answer questions.
Is there any staff discussion commission discussion at the moment?
I have a couple of questions. I had reached out to see if there were a couple other vantage points that can be looked at, and I do appreciate the quick turnaround on that. It's kind of as I had kind of figured it's going to be out for the distance, and it's not going to be, too much of a visual distraction from a couple other points where existing neighborhoods. So I do appreciate that. One concern I do have is, the sign that's just a lot of white. And, with a dark sky ordinance that we have, is there a way that sign could be dimmed like after 10 o'clock or something, so it's a little bit more compliant with dark skies? I don't know if that's a possibility with, turning off, 10 or 20% of the LEDs, if there could be a way to wire something along those lines. So I'm just kind of curious to that, so we don't have, the Caltrans lights in the median already bright enough. If there's a way to just kind of help to, when it starts getting late, to dim that down a little bit.
So with the sign program, we typically don't have conditions of approval, but we could ask the applicant to modify the master sign program to include language if they are agreeing with that, but we could have them add language in to the sign program that addresses that. And it might be most appropriate. And it's particularly the pylon, correct?
Yeah, just the pylon. Everything else is low enough. It's generally be shielded down, so it's not going to be contributing a lot of light there. I just know that the pylon sign, that is a concern that I would have. So, Mr. Chair, if when we get to a point, if the applicant wants to, when we're done with questions here, if the applicant wanted to speak, I'd be interested in hearing that.
Commissioner Smith, it's Christina Taylor back here in the back of City Hall. Can I just interject and say,
Absolutely.
When we do the plan check and it goes through plan check through building and safety, the plan checkers do look for consistency with the dark sky ordinance as it pertains to the lighting that's used as well. So I think adding the condition or the comment in the program is great, but I just wanted you to know, if Commission decides not to go that route, that it will be looked at through the building and safety plan check process as well.
Wonderful. I just wanted to make sure we're going to be consistent. Thank you. All right, well, that answers that question.
Yeah,
Is there any?
I have no questions.
No questions. Commissioner Black, do you have any questions?
No, I just, thank you, Christina, that clears that up because I was in agreement with the previous comments. So, thank you.
And for staff, is one of the reasons for this slight modification is, I see traveling westbound, the sign is very visible, but traveling eastbound, it barely reaches over that berm that we see in the photo. Is that what helped drive this?
That is exactly the reason what helped drive this, because the site's depressed, and then they do have the hill that's located to the east. Originally, they came in with an 80-foot pole, and I said, the eastbound I get, and it doesn't look bad, but from the westbound direction, it looks very large, and so we said, you as much as you can, try to reduce that. So I mean, like I said, it is kind of a constraint of the site, and really what generated this sign program.
All right. Are there any requests to speak from the audience, or does the applicant want to speak?
I have no written requests.
I just wanted really quickly to Chairman Smith.
If you could come up to the mic so we can get the audio. Thank you.
There's so many projects I work on, so I had to quickly check it out. But this is not your typical pylon where it has the big, lighting like this.
Right.
Where we have some vinyl copper. These are actually individual channel letters, so only the individual letters light. So that even
Okay.
blows that out too. So
Yeah, that does. Okay.
So this is.
Well, great.
That's it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that explanation. Yeah, I was under the assumption the whole sign was lighting up, the white part as well, but thank you for that clarification. That's helpful.
And I'll check with the phone line. Olivia, do we have anyone on the line?
No, there is nobody on the line.
Okay, if there's no further discussion or request to speak, then let's call for a motion.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner St. Martin?
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Stevens?
Yes. Okay, we can go on item 2.
Yep. I will recuse myself. Like I said, the applicant is a client of my employer, so
For now.
for now.
Okay, item 2 is a tentative parcel map, 38090, for consideration of a finance and conveyance map to subdivide 223 acres into 7 parcels, 1 remainder parcel, and 2 lettered lots consisting of Phase 4B of tentative track map 31462 within the Oak Valley and SC PGA Golf Course specific plan. APN portion of 413-790-1012 and 42. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Staff did receive an application for a tentative parcel map on March 4th of this year. The application was originally submitted by the property owner at the time, that was SDC Fairway Canyon. Since that time, the property has changed hands and is currently owned by Meritage Homes. As part of the process, we did provide a public notice in the press enterprise and notified property owners within a 300-foot radius of this public hearing, and no comments have been received to date. Vermont Municipal Code Section 16.04.020 designates the Planning Commission as an advisory agency charged with reviewing and making recommendations on all proposed tentative subdivision maps in the city. The Planning Commission can conditionally approve or disapprove tentative subdivision maps and submit them to City Council for final approval. Just to give you a little bit of history, the Oak Valley SC PGA SP was adopted in the County of Riverside. In 2001, it allowed a total of 4,300 dwelling units. It was later annexed into the city, and now it's known by two different names, which are Fairway Canyon and Tournament Hills. The subject application is focused in the Fairway Canyon area. The developments, the Fairway Canyon development is broken down into 4 phases, with phase 1 and 2 complete and phase 3 nearing completion. The proposed finance and conveyance map is located within phase 4. It does include planning areas 18A and B, 20A1, 20A2, 20B1, 20B2, 20C1, 20C2, 21B, and 21A through D. The finance and conveyance map does not allow for the development of parcels, but it does provide larger lots to be sold or transferred. Future development of the lots will require the recordation of the final maps, which the final maps for this particular area are the tentative maps are approved. The final maps are still pending recording. Staff did add a condition on that precludes development until such time that the final maps are recorded. In addition, an environmental impact report was certified for this specific plan in 2001, with the latest addendum approved by the City Council in 2014, and is subject to mitigation measures. The proposed subdivision does not present any changes or additional impacts that were not previously addressed, and it is pursuant to Section 15162 of CEQA guidelines. So at this time, staff would recommend that the Planning Commission open a public hearing, take public testimony, and then forward a recommendation of approval to the City Council for tentative parcel map 38090, which is also referred to as PM 2021-0008, subject to the development agreement and the attached conditions of approval. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. We also do have the applicant's representative and the engineer in the audience to answer questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there any commission discussion? Virtual or here, present?
Commissioner Black, did you want to speak first?
No questions, thank you.
Nothing has changed as far as the number of homes? Or have you changed the number of homes that are going to be proposed?
No. So this is just a larger subdivision that they can sell off to merchant builders or build by planning area. The tentative map, the tract maps for this area are already approved. So if they wanted to modify the lot count, they would have to come back through Planning Commission, City Council, and get those tentative maps amended.
Okay, but they haven't applied for that.
No, and they haven't recorded the final maps, so those final maps will still need to go on to City Council for approval.
Okay, no more questions.
This is a public hearing, and I'll open up the public hearing at 6:27. Are there any requests to speak?
I have no written comments. Olivia, do we have anyone on the line?
There is no one on the line.
Okay. Close the public hearing at 6:28. And ask for a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion and looking for a second. If I don't see that, there she is.
I can second.
All right. Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Black?
Yes.
Commissioner St. Martin?
Yes.
Chairman Stevens?
Yes, that passes 3 in the affirmative. Can we ask for Commissioner Nate to come back. That concludes all of our items. Do we have any Community Development Director comments?
Good evening, everyone. No real comments from me this evening, other than we will not be having a second meeting in November due to the Thanksgiving holiday that will occur that week, or the week that we would normally have our meeting. Additionally, I anticipate we will have a meeting December 14th. And other than that, we will not be having a second meeting in December either. And that concludes my comments this evening, but I'm happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Any questions?
No questions.
No? Thank you for those in attendance tonight and online, and thank you, Christina, Nicole, everybody. We can adjourn at 6:29. Thank you.
Thank you.